Hey there, crazy kids! I am the Good Old Gamer, and we're back to some more FTL. In this video, it's going to be another discussion video, taking a break from the action since our last run ended. If you'd rather not have any more spoilers than that, please go watch the runs of this game up to this point in the series, and then come back to this video later. Thank you. Alright, so in the last run in the Durango, we made it to Sector 6. See, Sector 6 in the Durango. That's twice as far as we made it in the previous runs that only went to Sector 3. And, well, because we made it to Sector 6 in the Durango farther than we ever had before, all of our crew from the Durango took over in terms of stats. So, yeah. And we also earned the Sector 5 achievement because we made it to Sector 6. So we passed Sector 5, which means we got ourselves a new ship to check out in the next run. It'll be the NG Cruiser. Anyways, so let's talk about the previous run for a bit. Most, if not all of you, should have watched it by now. If not, like I've said before, spoilers. Up through Sector 4, through the completion of Sector 4, we were doing great. Especially considering the fact that I was shooting to get the achievement right here that says get to Sector 8 without buying at a store. Repairs are okay, meaning the only thing we could do at a store was repair. We couldn't get anything. We couldn't get fuel, missiles, drone parts, or any of the weapons, or people, or anything like that. And up through Sector 4, we were doing very well with that. We used all of that extra scrap because we weren't buying into ship upgrades like shields, engines, weapons, doors, sensors, the whole 9 yards. And we were doing fantastic. We even had extra power we didn't need, really. We had 6 people on our crew. I think it was 6, like 6 or 7 people on our crew. We were doing fantastic. We were just, especially for not buying anything, we were doing amazing. But then we hit Sector 5. And Sector 5 was the beginning of our downfall. We made it into Sector 6, barely, but Sector 5 was the beginning of our downfall. Because in Sector 5, first we ran out of missiles, meaning we only had one weapon left, which was our basic blaster thing that the ship starts with, because we didn't get any weapons and loot, unfortunately, in any of the events. And because we ran out of missiles, we only had that blaster left. And in Sector 5, pretty much every enemy ship we came across had at least 3 shields. Our basic blaster could only take down those shields. That's it. Couldn't cause any extra damage. I think in Sector 5 we managed to destroy 1 ship, and it took forever. We had to whittle it down because it had 2 shields. So every once in a while we could hit it with the extra laser, because our laser could shoot 3 shots per charge. But because we ran out of missiles, that was our downfall, and we couldn't buy any missiles in the stores because I was going for that achievement. And then, because we couldn't kill any ships in Sector 5, except maybe 1, from what I remember, we couldn't get any fuel. We had to just rely on our fuel reserves. Because again, we couldn't buy anything from the stores. And I kept hoping when we jumped from beacon to beacon to beacon that we'd get events where we would just get scrap and fuel and missiles just by helping civilians, or just by finding it floating in space, or any number of ways you can get loot without actually attacking a ship. Unfortunately, we did not. So by the time we made it into Sector 6, we actually did make it into Sector 6. We were low on fuel, incredibly low on fuel, and we still had no missiles. That was our downfall. Without the missiles, we had no way of getting through enemy shields to damage them. Absolutely no way. So again, I had to use what little fuel I had to jump to beacons in an attempt to gain fuel through loot through means other than ship combat. The reason that we made it as far as we did through Sector 4 just fine, without worrying about fuel from stores and whatnot, is because we could destroy ships and get fuel from them. But once that was taken away from us, once we couldn't destroy ships, we ran out of supplies quick. And then, of course, came the last event in Sector 6 that destroyed us. That was the beacon where we lost our fuel. That was the last bit of fuel we had. And again, I was hoping we would find fuel at some point, but no. Instead, it was a combat situation, and wouldn't you know it, it was a ship that had 3 shields, meaning we could do 0 damage to them. It was a loss. We couldn't jump because we didn't have any fuel, so we couldn't get away from them. So we just had to sit there and die. We had no other option. I don't know if the game has a means of ending if you simply hit a beacon and run out of fuel. If your fuel is 0 and it just says, oh, you float in space forever and die, or something along those lines. Or if it just throws that kind of event in there where, because you're out of fuel, it'll automatically put a hefty enemy ship in there to destroy you. Although I don't know how that could work either, unless it calculated how much damage you could do and then gave you a ship that you couldn't get past, because you could still have the chance of destroying an enemy ship. So I don't know. Maybe they did factor in, oh, if you lost fuel, you just float in space forever and die. I don't know, but we didn't get a chance to find out because we hit an enemy ship and it killed us because we had no way to defend ourselves. If we would have had a missile, if we would have had missiles to fire with our Artemis missile launcher, we could have stood a chance because it bypasses shields, and we could have knocked the shields down with the missile and then did our regular damage with the blasters or whatever. But being a lack of missiles was our downfall. The main thing that was our downfall was that between sectors 1, 2, 3, and 4, we never picked up an extra weapon and loot. I know you can. I have seen other people do this. They defeat ships, or they just find a weapon floating in space in one of the beacons. We never got that lucky. We never found an extra weapon. If we had found an extra weapon that wasn't a missile-related weapon, if it had been a laser, or if it had even been an ion weapon, we would have been able to keep going. Because either lasers or ion weapons could have added enough damage to continue, but we never did. We never got lucky. I even upgraded the weapons system enough that if we did find another weapon, we could pretty much immediately use it. And we never did. So that was our downfall. So that is why the Durango fell at Sector 6. But I am impressed that we made it that far, considering we didn't buy anything from the stores beyond repairs. So that was really impressive. So I don't regret the run at all. It was an interesting experience, and I really don't regret it. It was nice. And it was really nice to break the Sector 3 curse. I was so happy with that. I'm so glad for that. Like I said, in the next run, we will take on as the NG cruiser here, the Taurus, which we will have to rename. Now this one, we start off with drones. So that's good. And we start off with an anti-ship drone. And because this is an ion weapon, it does no damage. It just shuts down systems. This anti-ship drone, at least to start with, is our only offensive weapon. We have to rely on it to cause all of our damage. Fortunately, with our ion blaster, we will be able to knock down enemy shields and allow the anti-ship weapon to do its thing. We can't control where the anti-ship shoots. That's up to it, but we can at least give it a chance to do its job. I'm really hoping by the time Sector 1 gets done that we get a new weapon. Either a new weapon or a stronger droid or drone or whatever. I always have trouble. I know they're drones, but I always say droids for whatever reason. We start off with 2 NG crew. So our repair speed is going to be awesome, but their combat is going to suck because it's in half. But we do have 1 human. So if we get attacked, if we get intruders, we're probably gonna be relying on this guy to deal with it. Or we can dump everybody in the med bay and attack them through there. The layout of the ship is different. As you see, it's more like a donut sort of deal with a hole in the middle. Our med bay is right by the pilot's area, so that's nice. Shields and weapons are pretty close together. I don't know how nice this is because with all of our primary systems right here, engines, shields, and doors and stuff. I guess our weapons are up there, whatever. With all this right here, it wouldn't be too hard for an enemy, especially with a beam weapon, to just go zip and kill them all, but it'll be interesting, that's for sure. Let's see what else. We have an NG Medbot Dispersal, which floods the ship with NG Nano Medbots, healing the crew even when they are outside of the medbay. It's just at a reduced rate. So no matter where we are on the ship, we will constantly be healed. It'll just be a little bit at a time. So that'll be interesting. And let's check out the achievements. Robotic Warfare. With the NG Cruiser, have 3 drones functioning at the same time. Basically, just fill all these 3 slots and have them all powered and running at the same time. With the NG Cruiser, destroy an enemy ship using only drones. No weapons. We'll be doing that right off in Sector 1 because we won't have a choice. At some point we will have to do that because we have no offensive weapons. I'm not sure if this counts as a weapon, but we're bound to come across a ship or two that doesn't have shields, in which case that'll have to take care of it anyway. Have 4 enemy systems or subsystems ioned at the same time while using the NG Cruiser. We could do this eventually if we get another ion weapon or 2. I don't think we'll be able to do it here with this. I'm not entirely sure how long this lasts. It recharges in 4 seconds, so if we have this and a good weapons man with reduced recharge time, we might be able to pull it off, but we'll probably need another ion weapon if we're going to attempt that. But we should be able to do this one and this one without too much trouble. This one might depend on how long we last in this ship, but this one shouldn't be much trouble at all. So we might get another Type B before this run. So this is the ship we'll be using in this run. I think I'll go ahead and use the easy mode for this. Mainly because, I don't know, this is kind of a weaker ship, kind of more niche sort of layout, specialized sort of layout, and easy mode will sort of balance it out a little bit. And on top of that, there is the how do I get out of here? What does this look like, by the way? Oh, it just looks like that. Whatever. Okay. There is the achievement here to beat the boss on easy, the final boss. Which means we would have to have an easy run at some point anyway. And I don't know, I don't want it to be too easy, and if we take the Kestrel, it might end up being that way. I've seen other people run the game in easy mode, and they get a lot more lucky than they do in hard, or normal, I should say. So, I'm thinking we'll go easy, since we're going to have a more specialized ship here. And it'll help us get an achievement, assuming we last that long. We have to do the run at some point, so I figure we might as well do this with this ship than with this, because it might be too easy, possibly. Anyways, that should make the run interesting. We're going to have new tactics, new layouts, and stuff. So, yeah. And then after that run, no matter how that run goes, really, I don't know if we'll make it to the end or not, but no matter how that run goes, the next run we'll probably go back to the Kestrel. Just because it's more stable, and if we go into normal mode, well, this will be better suited, I think. Anyways, I know this video's been long enough now with all my discussions. There are a few things I would like to talk about in terms of the game and my experiences, revolving around things that I would like to see in terms of unlockables or customizing or whatever. I think it would be nice, it's probably never going to happen, but I think it would be nice if you could choose your crew. If you could unlock certain crew by having crew on your ship, or having certain alien crew members accomplish certain tasks or level up a certain way that they can be unlocked. I understand that for balancing issues, something like this, if we had 3 rock people on this ship, for example, it might be too unbalanced or something, but you could always balance it out like 1 rock person equals 2 human crew, so you could limit yourself that way or whatever. But it would be nice to have different setup than this, being able to customize that. That's just something that came to mind. It would also be nice to be able to have a different weapon layout option. Now, I understand that there's Type B layout to every ship, meaning that there probably is a different weapon layout, and for all I know, a different crew layout. But I don't know, I would like a certain customizable aspect to it. And that might mean that the achievements here matter more, you know? Doing these certain tasks should be able to unlock certain customizing things. I would think, anyway. That's my thoughts on that. It would be nice if, say, if you completed the game, you beat the boss and everything, if you could rearrange your systems however you wanted. Like, you could put whichever system you wanted in whichever space. Because as you see here, they don't even need certain sizes, I don't think. Maybe they do. Maybe they need a certain size room, but within those certain size rooms even, I think it would be nice to be able to switch your things around if you wanted. And again, it would have to be because of something you accomplished, like beating the game or something. Or maybe completing all three of these achievements or something. I don't know. These are just some thoughts that came to me as I've been experiencing the game and stuff. When I originally first made my first run of this game, that's what I thought would happen. When we got new crew and we got new weapons and stuff, I thought, oh, maybe I'll be able to pick these as starting options. I figured, these would be, there would be more unlockables after certain accomplishments and stuff, but it doesn't really seem that way. It's like you get this layout or this layout, and that's it. And I don't know. I guess for challenge or whatever, some people appreciate that, but I think they could do some balancing and unlock some things and make it more customizable. But that's just my thoughts. I mean, the game is random enough that no matter how you start, even with the same thing, every run is different enough that it doesn't stay the same for too long. So there's always that too, I suppose. But um, yeah. Anyways, I've rambled on long enough. You guys don't need to keep listening to me, and I will need to come up with more things to talk about after the next run. So stay tuned for more FTL coming up. And like I said, we will try out the NG Cruiser. We will have to rename our crew as well as the ship and see what happens there. This will be interesting. Stay tuned for that next time. Bye-bye for now.